Hello, everyone. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Danielle Irwin, and this is yet another video blog for Unplugged Women's Group Pursued. So as I began to pray about Pursued, there was one word or one phrase really that just kept kind of rolling throughout my spirit, and that word was reflective. And the more that I prayed about Pursued before the launch and even after our official launch on June 1st, 2013, I just really found myself praying that Pursued would be an avenue or would be an atmosphere where women could live lives that are reflective of the God that we serve. And I really feel like that's God's heart for Pursued. So with that being said, I invite all of you to join us as we begin our new series called Reflective. Again, this is an opportunity for you to really dig deep into the Word, to really look inside of yourself and to see who it is that you're currently reflecting. Are you reflecting yourself or are you reflecting God? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. I have a couple of definitions to kind of get us started as we begin this journey, as we begin this series. So the first definition of reflective is actually one that just comes from the dictionary. And the definition of reflective says an image as in a mirror. So I ask you, what are you reflecting? Are you reflecting yourself or are you reflecting God? If you look more at the dictionary definition, you'll find meditation. Psalms 19:14 says, "Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing to your sight." So what are you meditating on? What are the things that you're meditating on? What is your heart? What is your thoughts, your actions? What do they say about you? What do they say about the relationship that you have with God? What do they say about the God that you serve? Are they reflecting the God of this earth, or are they reflecting the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? Another definition that I really liked is a bit more scientific, so I'm going to read this twice for you just to make sure that we get it. So the scientific definition of reflection is the change in direction of a wavefront at an interference between two different media so that the wavefront returns into the medium from which it originated. I'm going to read that again. The change in direction of a wavefront at an interference between two different media so that the wavefront returns into the medium from which it originated. So if we are to live lives that are truly reflective of the God that we serve, that everything that we think, do, and say must be reflective of Him. It must bring Him glory and not us. I know we all know the saying and we all pray this prayer, Lord, decrease me only so that you would increase. But what if we really began to walk that out, and what if we really began to live that? I'm going to start us off here with this series in Exodus chapter 13, verses 12 through 17. Now, leading up in the beginning of this chapter, this is when God has just delivered Moses and the Israelites out of Egypt. They're in Sinai, and God is telling them to go into the promised land. But He's saying, I can't go with you, but I'm going to send an angel to go before you. And that the purpose of Him sending that angel, the purpose of God sending that angel, is to drive out all the Canaanites and the Jezebites and all the other ites that were currently in the promised land. But God said, I can't go with you, so I'm going to send this angel with you. So where we pick up in verses 12, it says, "When Moses said to the Lord, 'See, you say to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, and that I may find grace in your sight. And consider that this nation is your people.' And he said, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Then he said to him," this is Moses talking to God, "if your presence does not go with us, do not bring us up from here. For how then will it be known that your people and I have found grace in your sight, except that you go with us? So we shall be separate, your people and I, from all the people who are upon the face of the earth." So the Lord said to Moses, "I will do this thing that you have spoken, for you have found grace in my sight, and I know you by name." I absolutely love that. Like, how G of Moses is that he said, you know what, God, I hear you loud and clear. I know that you want us to go into the promised land, but I don't want to go without you. I don't know this angel that you're sending with us. I can't trust it. I only trust you. And if you don't go with us, if you don't go before us, if you personally, God, don't drive out all these people out of the promised land that are in our way, if you don't do that for us, then how will you get the glory? How will people know? How will people be able to look at us and know that we have found grace in your sight, that we are truly your people? So I encourage you all today to start every day from this day forth with that prayer, with that Moses attitude, with that Moses prayer, and say, you know what, God, I have a long list of things that I need to do today, things that I know that you've ordained for me to do, things that I know that you've called and purposed for me to do, but I don't want to do them if you're not going to come with me. Because if you don't come with me and if you don't go before me, then you won't get the glory. And if you don't get the glory, then I don't want to do it. So my challenge to you today is to really begin to look at yourself, look at the reflections of your heart, look at the meditations of your heart, look at what you're doing and see if it's reflecting God or if it's reflecting you. Log on to www.iampursued.org for more blogs and more information on not only Pursued, but this reflective series. Be blessed.